He looked straight into the camera and said he was done. No more cowboy hats, no more Dutton drama, no more Yellowstone. Luke Grimes walked away, and fans accepted it, some angry, some heartbroken. But now he's back, and nobody knows why. What could make a man go back on a promise he swore to keep? What pulled Luke Grimes back into a world he claimed to leave behind? **** Luke Grimes wasn't just another actor on Yellowstone. He was one of the emotional pillars of the showcase. Dutton, the conflicted son who carried the weight of his family's sins and traditions. Viewers connected with him deeply. He was the quiet storm in a world full of chaos. So when Luke hinted that his time on the show was coming to an end, it hit fans hard. It didn't happen all at once. At first, there were whispers, a few odd interviews, comments that didn't seem alarming until you looked back at them in hindsight. I feel like I've said what I needed to say with this character, he once said in a magazine feature. Many thought he was just being thoughtful, reflective. But then, in another interview, he made it clearer. He was shifting focus. Music has always been my first love, he said. I want to give it my full attention now. Those words didn't just come from a place of inspiration, they sounded final. Soon after, rumors spread like wildfire. People online speculated that Luke was unhappy with the direction of the story. Others believed he felt boxed in by the cowboy image. There were also murmurs of tension between cast members and questions about how showrunner Taylor Sheridan was handling the expanding Yellowstone universe. Some said Luke simply didn't want to be part of a franchise machine anymore. Then came the bombshell. Luke Grimes wouldn't be returning for the rest of the season. No dramatic send-off, no explosive exit. He just disappeared from the storyline. Fans were left confused. Social media erupted. Case deserved better. One fan tweeted, "You don't just remove a core Dutton like that and act like it's nothing." Official statements were quiet. Too quiet, no press release, no public goodbye. Just silence. Luke, meanwhile, began showing up on small stages with his guitar. His voice, warm and gritty, told different kinds of stories, now songs about love, heartbreak, and freedom. He seemed happy, at peace even. His Instagram filled with clips of live performances, wide-open landscapes, and acoustic moments. If anyone thought he missed the chaos of Hollywood, they were wrong. He looked like a man who had made his choice and wasn't looking back. So fans moved on. Some with sadness, others with understanding. But deep down, a question lingered for many. Why would Luke Grimes leave a hit show at its peak? A show that had made him a household name. Was it really just about music? Or was there something else behind the curtain? A disagreement, a betrayal, a secret we weren't meant to know. Whatever the reason, one thing was clear. Luke Grimes had shut the door behind him, or so we thought, when Luke Grimes disappeared. From Yellowstone, it didn't just leave a hole in the show. It sent shockwaves through the fandom and behind the scenes. Viewers didn't get a proper goodbye. Case's storyline didn't wrap up. It just stopped. One episode he was there, wrestling with his future and the Dutton legacy. The next, gone. No funeral, no flashback, no cliffhanger. Just empty space. Fans were confused, but the people working on the show. Some were furious. Sources close to the production began whispering, quietly at first, but soon enough, leaks started hitting the internet. One insider claimed that Luke had disagreements with the direction of the story. Another said he was promised something that never happened. Then came the theory that he was caught in the middle of a bigger storm, one involving Taylor Sheridan, the show's creator, and a growing list of behind-the-scenes conflicts. At the time, Yellowstone was starting to feel the pressure of its own success. Spin-offs were being announced left and right. 1883, 1923, 6,666. More shows meant more stories and more control in Sheridan's hands. Some said he was stretched too thin, others believed he was tightening his grip on the original series, rewriting characters to fit his new vision, and Luke Grimes. He may not have liked where things were going. Asterisk there was also the Kevin Costner problem. Asterisk around the same time Grimes was stepping back, rumors about Costner leaving Yellowstone started making headlines, arguments about scheduling, contracts, creative control. Some said Costner's drama created a ripple effect, changing the whole energy of the set. Luke, who had always been low-key and private, may have found himself caught in the middle of a power struggle he didn't sign up for. Asterisk and the fans? They weren't quiet. Social media was on fire. Reddit threads exploded with theories. TikTok creators broke down old interviews looking for hidden clues. One video pointed out how Luke never posted anything about Yellowstone for months before his exit. Another fan noticed that his character had started to fade into the background even before he left. Was that a setup for his quiet removal? Or was the actor already half out the door? Asterisk publicly, Luke stayed silent. He never blasted the show, never complained. He just shifted his focus to music, giving interviews about songwriting, not acting. He didn't throw mud, and maybe that silence said more than words ever could. Asterisk, but there was one moment that stood out. In a quiet radio interview promoting his album, Luke was asked about acting. He paused for a second, then said, "Right now, I'm where I want to be." It wasn't bitter. It wasn't emotional. It was final. Like a man who closed a chapter, locked it, and tossed the key. Asterisk still, the fallout continued. Yellowstone fans were divided. Some felt betrayed. Others respected his decision and the show. It moved on, but something felt different. Without Case, the emotional center wasn't the same. The balance was off. Characters were forced into new roles. Storylines felt rushed or recycled. The audience noticed. Asterisk behind the scenes. Producers scrambled to patch the gaps. Writers adjusted. Scripts, publicists dodged questions. But the damage had been done. Dutton was gone and no one had a clear answer why. Asterisk until one day. A whisper changed everything. Asterisk Luke Grimes was seen near the Yellowstone set, not far from the ranch. No cameras, no announcement, just a quiet return. At first, people thought it was a mistake. A mix-up, maybe he was visiting friends. But then someone saw him in costume. Asterisk, and suddenly, the story wasn't about why he left anymore. Asterisk it became, why is he back? Asterisk, someone posted it online, just a shadowy figure wearing a cowboy hat, standing outside a trailer. The post read, pretty sure I just saw Luke Grimes at the Yellowstone set. No joke, most people didn't believe it. Old pic, someone replied, clickbait, another said. But within hours, more sightings popped up. Another fan claimed they saw him near Paradise Valley, Montana, right where Yellowstone films. Then someone else said they'd overheard a crew member talking about Case's big return. Asterisk this wasn't just wishful thinking. Something was happening. A few days later, photos started surfacing, not promotional, not posed, but raw, behind-the-scenes images. Luke in full costume, dressed as Case Dutton again, standing next to Taylor Sheridan, laughing with crew members. The man who had sworn he was done was back. Just like that. Asterisk fans were stunned. It didn't make sense. After all the talk about focusing on music after leaving without fanfare, why would he return? What changed? Asterisk people began digging, and slowly theories started to take shape. Asterisk the first idea. Money. Some speculated that the studio offered Luke a massive paycheck to come back. The final episodes of Yellowstone needed a powerful ending. And, let's be honest, without Case, there was no emotional payoff. Bringing him back could save the finale. One entertainment reporter even hinted that the producers had made a very generous offer, one that was hard to turn down. Asterisk, but others weren't convinced it was about cash. They believed something deeper was going on. Maybe it wasn't Luke who wanted to return. Maybe Taylor Sheridan needed him badly. Behind the scenes, Yellowstone had been facing one setback after another. Kevin Costner's departure shook the foundation of the series. Timelines were delayed, spin-offs were stealing attention. The franchise was expanding fast, but the original story, the one fans truly cared about, was falling apart. And in the middle of that collapse, bringing Case Dutton back might have been the only way to restore balance. Some insiders hinted at a new arc being written. One that could only be told if Case returned, a redemption story, a final reckoning. Between father and son, a legacy decision that only he could make. The show can't end without Case, one anonymous crew member said. It just wouldn't make sense, and then there was a third theory, the one fans didn't expect. What if Luke never really wanted to leave? What if he left because he felt pushed out? Maybe disagreements backstage made him feel disconnected. Maybe he needed space, time. Maybe he hoped things would cool down. And when they finally did, he found a way back. In a recent quiet interview for a music podcast, Luke dropped a strange comment. When asked if he missed acting, he paused and said, "Sometimes doors close ... but not forever." At the time, no one read too much into it. Now, it feels like a hidden message. One thing's for sure, his return wasn't meant to be loud. There was no official announcement, no trailer teaser. Just a quiet walk back into the world he once left behind. But that silence only made it more powerful. Luke Grimes coming back doesn't just affect one character. It shakes the entire foundation of the Yellowstone universe. Because this isn't just about Case Dutton anymore, it's about the bigger game, the future of the Dutton family, the future of the franchise, and maybe the end of an era. At the time of Luke's return, Yellowstone was already standing on uneven ground. Kevin Costner was out, official statements were polite, but behind the scenes, everyone knew things had gotten messy. Disagreements over contracts, shooting schedules, and creative direction had left the show's biggest star walking away from what could have been a legendary final chapter. And without Costner's John Dutton, the heartbeat of the story was in danger. Now imagine trying to finish a story with no ending. That's what Yellowstone was facing. The audience was demanding closure. Years of drama, betrayal, violence, love, and now the writers had to tie it all up, cleanly, with meaning, with emotional weight. And to do that, they needed more than just scenery and monologues. They needed KAYCE. Because from the very beginning, the show was never just about John Dutton. It was about legacy, about who would carry it, who would protect it, who would burn it all down if they had to. Case Dutton represented that question. He was the reluctant heir, the quiet warrior, the man torn between two worlds, the ranch, and the family he was trying to build outside of it. Without him, the story had no real soul. No finish line. And that's where the strategy kicks in. Some believe Luke Grimes' return was part of a long game, not just to fix Yellowstone, but to build the next generation of shows. With Kevin Costner out, the studio needed a new anchor. A familiar face who could hold the audience. A legacy character to bridge the old world and the new. There's been talk, quiet, careful talk, about a Yellowstone spin-off centered on Case, maybe even set after the original series ends. Could that be the real reason behind his return? Think about it. His exit was sudden. His return was silent, and the timing. Right as the series prepares for its final batch of episodes. It almost feels scripted, like a plot twist we were never supposed to see coming. Until the very end. But there's another side to this too, a more personal one. Maybe Luke didn't come back for contracts or spin-offs. Maybe it wasn't about Sheridan or the studio. Maybe he just wasn't finished. Maybe After some distance, some reflection, and time away from the spotlight, he realized something was still left unsaid. Still left undone. Sometimes stories pull people back in even when they think they're out for good. Asterisk, and you can see it in the way the production is handling things now. The secrecy, the care, the silence, no promos. No behind-the-scenes hype. It's like they're protecting something. Like they know this moment needs to hit hard when it lands. No leaks. No spoilers, just impact. Asterisk, what does that mean for the finale? For the Dutton family, for Case, asterisk, no one knows for sure. But here's what we do know. Luke Grimes is back. Not for a cameo, not for a flashback. He's back in the story, front and center. And whatever ending Sheridan is writing, it now includes the son who once walked away. Asterisk, maybe that's what this has been about all along. Asterisk, a man torn between two lives. A show torn between chaos and closure. A return nobody expected. And a final act nobody's ready for. Asterisk, so now the only question left is asterisk, how does it all end? He said he was done. Asterisk, he traded his saddle for a guitar. The ranch for a quiet life. And just when we accepted that he was gone for good, he came back. Asterisk, but this isn't just about one actor changing his mind. Asterisk, this is about legacy. Asterisk, this is about a story that's been burning for years, a story that now has a final chance to land where it belongs, on its feet, with its heart intact. Asterisk, Luke Grimes' return isn't just a headline. It's a signal. Something big is coming, something we haven't seen yet. The end of Yellowstone is no longer just a question of how, but who. Asterisk, who survives. Asterisk, who pays the price. Asterisk, and who carries the Dutton name into whatever comes next. Asterisk, because if Case is back, what does that mean for the rest of the family? Asterisk, John, Beth, Rip, Monica, Tate. Asterisk, the ranch. Asterisk, everything could shift in the final moments. Asterisk, and the only thing more powerful than a goodbye is a return you never saw coming. Asterisk, now we turn it over to you. Asterisk, what do you think brought Luke Grimes back? Was it money? Was it loyalty? Was it unfinished business? Or something else entirely? Asterisk, drop your theories in the comments below. We're reading them all. Asterisk, and if you want to stay one step ahead of the next twist in the Yellowstone universe, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We've got more bombshells coming. Asterisk, because in the world of the Duttons, nothing is ever truly over. Asterisk, especially not this. Asterisk.